Hello and welcome, this is Mousegunner, and we're back with some more MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. So, in the last video I did an experimental run to see how effective it would be if we used a lot of the lighter ultra auto cannons, the clan ones, and it seemed to be pretty effective. Now, I think a key to the success of that is I did go for a much more protective build, going for a lot of armor, and that may work for me again in the future. And we do have heavier mechs to install this stuff into as well. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to hop into the mech lab here. Because as much as the Mad Cat Mark II gave us some success, it is a little bit lighter. I mean, you're 10 tons lighter than the max you could possibly have. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and strip this sucker out. And we're going to try and look at either the Gladiator or the Daishi. Now, the Daishi's not going to be repaired yet, so it's not going to be ready to go. I think we take a look at the Gladiator instead. So we're going to strip out all the weapons that we have in here. And I did have a ballistic somewhat weapon set up before with this mech, but let's go ahead and strip out. We should be able to fit in the AC2s no problem. But again, with that defensive loadout, first off, we're going to remove all these heat sinks because we're not going to need them. And then we'll get into the armor here. And I'm going to move it over to reactive because usually, from what I've seen, at least in Solaris, most of your real bad damage is going to come from some ammunition or ballistic style weapon. I say ballistic, it also covers missile weapons. Let's max that armor out. We know we're going to have around about 38, 39 tons to use. I figure we maybe remove some armor from the legs. Usually legs are the things that are not going to be targeted all that much by the AI. So right now we've got 39 tons to work with, and I could easily put something into ECM. This will decrease enemy sensor range and increase enemy missile lock-on time. Both of those are good defensive measures. I can also lower our speed to give us some more tonnage if we need it. But the real thing is, how many of these AC2s/AC5s can I fit on this mech? So let's say we go with the AC2s because those seem to be a little bit more effective for what tonnage you have. So we'll put a couple up in the right torso here, and we'll put a couple in each of the arms because that is where we can actually place them anyway. So it's not like we have much of a choice as far as that's concerned. And then our last two are going to come over here. So the question is, how much are we going to have left over for ammunition? Because that's going to be a factor. We only have 3 tons. So that is definitely worse than what we saw in the Mad Cat Mark II. But armor should be a lot higher than we've seen in the past. So if we back off the walking speed, yeah, see, this is where I'm starting to get into a little bit of unsurety of how good of a system this is in a heavier mech. Because although we have 5 tons to work with, that armor that we put in there is a lot heavier. I could always back the armor off. But this should give me enough tonnage to up the ammo count for all of my guns. Now, I don't know if 480 is enough to get me through. It was enough to get me through in that one assault match that I did, but I didn't feel like I had to fire my weapons all that much. And the consequence of this is I really had to slow down that Gladiator, which is not something I really want to do. But it looks like... Now, firepower is not very high on this mech, but I think some of that's misleading because heat sinks add to firepower, whether they actually do anything for you or not. They are not really factoring in the damage. So, for instance, if I put a bunch of medium lasers in here and I didn't have any heat sinks, and have terrible heat efficiency, but the firepower probably wouldn't be that high. But if I actually had good heat efficiency, I put in heat sinks, the firepower would be much higher than what we're getting here. So I think this could be misleading, and I think we did indeed see that. I think this is a decent loadout. I just am a little bit concerned that we might be too slow to utilize it properly. But on the other hand, our defensiveness might be too high. And the other thing I'm concerned about is we don't have any backup if we run out of ammo. And knowing that this might be the only championship run, or the only chance we have in a championship run, I am a little bit concerned. But I think this is a good call, one way or the other. So we're going to be really slow, but we have the potential of possibly doing a good amount of damage and being able to poke people from long range, keeping ourselves out of danger. So we'll try it. We'll see how well it works. I don't know if this is going to be a viable tactic or not. No, in my opinion, is this a good idea for the arena we're going to be coming into? Probably not, if I were to be totally honest with you. Because we're going to be close in the factory. It's going to be almost impossible for me to get range in the factory because of how much cover there is. That does cause me a little bit of a dilemma with the loadout. Maybe we switch to the AC-5s. We have less of them, so it might be easier to give them enough ammo to go forward. Oop, we don't want a normal. We want clan AC-5s. Now, in my opinion, this is not effective of a weapons loadout. And we should only be able to fit... Oh, helps if you fit the right weapon. Come on. There we go. We might only be able to fit 4 of these suckers. And this would be equivalent of 2 large pulse lasers, which is not quite what I'm looking for. But we could back this up with some medium lasers just to make sure that we have some backup weaponry in case we run a little dry. Would like to speed me back up too. So what I'll do in this case is I'll put on some medium, standard range medium lasers. And we'll work the heat efficiency if we need to. Alright, so as far as I'm concerned, that's not bad firepower. Maybe not ideal, but I think with this loadout, I'm going to give myself a couple heat sinks. The strategy is we do sequential fire. And we use the medium lasers as well. Now, they're not going to have a very quick cycle time, and these will. But I think this will work out. We'll probably keep up a consistent rate of fire. Oh. I made a mistake. Okay. We might not have quite the tonnage I thought we might have. Alright. Let's back that off a little bit. We might not need the heat sinks, though. That's a good thing. Alright. I accidentally installed an AC2. Let's make sure we have that right. And I'll look it over again just to be certain. Okay, so we've got a ton extra ammo in all of our weapons. It looks like we can afford another medium laser here. Whether or not that's going to be good for heat efficiency, I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. I can deal with it. So let's save that on up. I don't know if this is the ideal setup, but we'll have the AC-5s one weapon group, the medium lasers another, but more than likely I'll be doing sequential fire here. And this will be what we try and go forward with. Now, the ranges are going to be closer, but with the factory, I don't know if we're ever going to really get those kind of ranges. This is a real risk, though, because I have not tested this at all, so I don't know how effective it's going to be. And this being a championship run, this is really our only chance here. So we're going to jump into that Gladiator. And I don't know if the ammo stores are going to last. I really, there's a lot of unknowns here, but we're going to go for it. So let's launch.
And it is finally time. This is Duncan Fisher bringing you the last game of the factory season. This is it. Tonight we find out who is the king of the rubble heap. It is an all-star lineup as the best of the best duke it out for total factory domination. We have Sren Odessa, who placed extremely well last year and is one of the favorites for the Grand Championship. We've got Marcus Wilder, who unleashed a brutal campaign of terror in the assault class this season. And there are plenty more where they came from. This is one game you don't want to miss.
All right, here we go.
Game on.
Enemy detected.
Sren Odessa has been a name to watch in Solaris for years. She placed 10th in the 62 match, and she's been gaining ground ever since. Many believe that this is her year to finally take the title. Sren is one of those players who is a joy to watch. A lot of times when that's one down, I'm always amazed in these open class championship games at what mech pilots bring in. And a lot of times, I'm even more amazed at how well they do. Last year, someone brought in a medium mech and lasted until the final 3. Not only is that extraordinary skill, but also major style points in my book. Most of the time, the big boys win this one, your assault and heavy mechs. But hats off to the lighter mechs out there.
Looking at this guy's loadout, he's got 2 LBX-20s. We do not want to get hit with that. We're going to use that other guy as a distraction.
He stood his ground and fired up until the last. Now that's the Solaris way of playing it. He's out of the round, but earned some style points in doing it.
We may be able to take out his arms,
be seeing more of him later.
which is where he has those auto cannons.
The action down there is intense.
Got him.
We still have some names down there, but some have fallen by the wayside. The championships always have so many big names, and only one can win. But in my book, every person down there is a winner. Just to make it that far is an incredible feat.
Okay, this Loki we're fighting has a lot of damage. We might be able to take him down without fighting too hard here. It would help if I could get the accuracy I'm looking for. Okay. Ammo isn't too bad. We started with 240, from what I remember.
Target destroyed.
Got him. Okay, so far we have managed okay, in my opinion. There's a big cluster in the middle. Okay, that's Shrina Odessa. That's the guy that, or the, I think it's a woman, that was listed as being the favorite, so we want to stay away from her. Don't give her a clear shot on me anyway. Maybe if we can take a pot shot at her as she comes out of cover. Oh, ow, she hit me. Alright, we don't want to get hit again. Okay. Hopefully, one of these other guys will... Nah, hit the wall there. We don't want to do that. Let's see if we can, again, hit the favorite here. Probably hit the wall a fair amount. Not really what we want. Okay, this might be all that there is. Let's focus on this guy, because he has...
And there goes Shrin. It took a bunch of them to drag her down. Pretty good tactics out there. If you take out the ace first, you can take a deep breath and concentrate on the little guys. There's a whole lot of extra pressure being on top of the pyramid, and today it looks like she just couldn't take it.
Ow. I was trying to be patient here. I'm hoping that the other... Yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're just looking for him to be distracted. Looks like that's not working, though. Alright, you need to cut it out, my friend. Okay, if we're not careful here, these guys are gonna both gang up on me. Oh, come on. I mean, right now I'm ignoring the light mech, because he can't really do that much to me. I mean, yeah, he can damage me, but I think it's wiser to ignore him for now. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to have happen there. But now here's my chance. Let's unload on him. There we go. Now we just got this guy, who's a little punk. Should be able to take him out easily. Alright, let's get out a little bit into the open here. Okay. Okay, that should have been devastating firepower that we just laid into him. There we go.
And that's it. Bam! That is it. The last game of the factory season is over. And who won? Not any of the old favorites. A dark horse named Spectre. In an unbelievable season, he has won in every category in the factory and is now king of the rubble pile. There is still some more left of the season, and just like you, Solaris fans, I'm on the edge of my seat to see just how far this Merc rookie-turned-champion will go. This is Duncan Fisher, live from the factory, signing off.
All right, well, that loadout was pretty effective, in my opinion. And we actually came out of that one without getting any damage. It was the first time I've gone into this level of competition and not come out with any damage. So I think this is pretty effective. And again, I think a lot of that is just the defense. We needed the defense up. Now that we have it, I think we're much better off. Well, I think there's one more championship run to do, and then we will be in the grand tournament. I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.